morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice for Radio. So today, we need to talk about a new item card. It's a very nice new item card. It has been revealed officially on the, I want to say it was a Japanese YouTube channel. And it has been translated by the lovely Antoine Boulet, one of our very favourites here. And apparently it is Lookalike Bell. Continuing the bell theme that we previously saw from Ear Ringing Bell. Annoyingly though, it's Pokemon Search. But it's Pokemon Search that isn't a ball, which means you can't use Apricorn Maker. And I know that Apricorn Maker is about to rotate out as this comes out, fine. But we've had Apricorn Maker before, we might have it again in the future. And there's always Expanded to think about, so I'm sorry, I'm kind of a little bit triggered that this could have been a Pokeball and it's a bell instead. Never mind. What does it do? Well, according to the lovely Antoine Boulet, you search your deck for a Pokemon with the same name as a Pokemon in your discard pile and add it to your hand, and then you shuffle your deck. This one, it's not great in the early game for fairly obvious reasons. You don't have the right Pokemon in your discard pile. But as the game wears on, this could be absolutely beautiful. Now, one thing we need to point out right at the beginning here, it's kind of like Repeat Ball, but it's not like Repeat Ball. Repeat Ball let you search out a Pokemon with the same name as one you had in play. This is in the discard, and this is better. Because for Repeat Ball, you need to be able to get it on the field. For Lookalike Bell, you need to be able to get it in the discard pile, but that's one and the same nowadays. Seriously, right? If you want to get a Pokemon in the discard pile, you've got Viridian Forest. Discard a card from your hand and search your deck for a basic energy. We've got Quick Ball. Discard a card from your hand and search for a basic Pokemon. Or in Psychic decks, we've got Mysterious Treasure. Discard a card from your hand, search for any Psychic or Dragon Pokemon. We've even actually got Duskull, the one that lets you, the one for Cosmic Eclipse, discard 3 cards from your hand and then search for a Dusknoir and evolve it. Not a Dusknoir, well, anything that evolves from it, which is going to be a Dusclops. But you discard the 3 cards first, so you could just discard 3 cards from your hand. We're not worried about discarding it. So, yes, I know this looks a bit like Repeat Ball. Repeat Ball saw a little bit of play here and there. Not very much. I consider this instantly significantly better than Repeat Ball. Because what you could do a lot of the time is literally draw a Pokemon, Quick Ball it away to search for a second one, and then Lookalike Bell to search for a third, and alright, you've had to discard one, but you've searched out the other 2. And I know that reckless discarding sounds bad, but the thing to remember is now that we've got Normal Rod, it really doesn't matter. Because Normal Rod lets you put 2 Pokemon back into your deck. We've got decent item Pokemon recovery. To be clear, I don't think you should be aiming to discard Pokemon so you search them out with Lookalike Bell. I'm just saying it is an option, and with the Pokemon recovery we've got at the moment, it's not a bad option. Now, if we very briefly take a sojourn into the expanded format, Battle Compressor is awesome. You see, in the expanded format, we're already conditioned to play with Battle Compressor. That's the one that lets you search your deck for any free cards and discard them. We play Execute. That's got an ability that lets you put it in your hand from the discard pile. So you pick it up constantly after having Battle Compressed it away. And we're used to using Versus Seeker, so we discard the supporter we want to play, so we can Versus Seeker it back. In Expanded, I see Lookalike Bell being even better because you've got Battle Compressor. Again, I'm not saying that you should aim to be discarding all your Pokemon nice and early on the chance you search for Lookalike Bell. I am saying that it is an option, so if you've got a Battle Compressor and a Lookalike Bell in hand, you can search for the Pokemon you want. And that's pretty gosh darned awesome. It's not going to help you with one-off techs, obviously, because, I mean, if you're playing one Victini Prism Star, well, that goes to the discard pile. Oh, no, wait, it goes into Lost Zone, that's bad. But even if you're playing one Mew from Unbroken Bonds so that you can protect your bench, either it's in the deck and you can't search it because it's in the discard, Or it's in the discard and you can play Lookalike Bell, but you're going to fail the search because there isn't one in your deck. This is a card which is good for searching out those Pokemon that you play as 4-offs. Or maybe 3-offs, maybe 2-offs at a push. But then if you play it as a 2-off, you run the risk of one being in the discard pile and the other one being prized, so I'm not a huge fan. 3 or 4-offs. And if we look at how our Pokemon search is going to look, this isn't going to shape the top end of our Pokemon search. Quick Ball is still the best for searching out basic Pokemon. Discard a card from your hand, search for any basic. Evolution Incense is still the best for evolved Pokemon. Search for any evolved Pokemon. If you're a Psychic deck, you're still going to be playing Mysterious Treasure. Discard a card from your hand, search for a Psychic or Dragon Pokemon. I suppose in Dragon decks as well, but yeah. Arceus and Dialga and Palkia is seeing play with stuff like Zacian, but Dragon decks, as in actual Dragon decks made of dragons, are just not relevant at the moment. And honestly, if you're a grass deck, you're still going to be playing Turffield Stadium to search out your evolutions and Netball to search out your basics. The staples, so to speak, aren't going to change. What's going to change is when you need that extra little bit of search. The kind of way we play a bit of Pokemon Communication at the moment. Pokemon Communication isn't a phenomenal card. You swap a Pokemon in your hand for a Pokemon in your deck. Which means, firstly, you've got to have a Pokemon in your hand, or you've got to fail the card. Oh, well, you can't even fail it, you just can't play it. And secondly, even if you've got a Pokemon in your hand, it's got to be one you're willing to put back into your deck, because otherwise, you're not leaving yourself with all the options you want. Yay, I'm searching for a Pokemon, but I'm actually getting rid of one at the same time. But we play Pokemon Communication because we want something that can search out a basic or an evolution. So you play 4 Quick Ball, and then 2 or 3 Evolution Incense, and then a couple of these, because you don't just want to go 4 Evolution Incense, because it can't search out your basics. It sucks. What are you going to do about it? Sad face. So, is it going to replace Pokemon Communication? Not for everybody. This is going to be really good for decks that play very consistent 4-off Pokemon lines, play a bunch of cards like Viridian Forest and Quick Ball, and need the extra search. So I could see this being good in a Malamar deck. Not the first time I've said that about the card in the last couple days. Worth reminding ourselves, we are expecting this to come in our set that will be legal for tournament play on August the 21st. And we're expecting Malamar to rotate out on September the 1st, though nothing is confirmed. But it's a good example of the kind of thing we're looking for. Malamar's playing Quick Ball. Malamar's playing Mysterious Treasure. Malamar is playing Viridian Forest. So if you need to discard, you're golden. And secondly, Malamar tends to be playing lots of 4-offs. 4 Inkay, 4 Malamar, maybe 4 Giratina. Now, this also becomes awesome with Giratina, because of course Giratina, you want it in the discard pile, so you can then search it out and then try and discard it with something like Viridian Forest. So I love it for that. But it's a kind of deck where you're going to want multiple Inkay and Malamar. You're going to want them regularly. Oh, look. This comes in. It makes me a bit nervous because if you're discarding one so you can later search with Lookalike Bell, you're kind of playing 3 in your deck, and you don't want to play 3, you want to play 4. It's not great in the early game, and I don't think it's going to be a 4-of, and I don't think it's going to replace the staple Pokemon search we've got at the moment. I don't think it's good enough. What I do think, however, is that you are going to be able to use this as a great mid-game option. I've played a 2-2 Malamar line. I really need another Malamar. Oh, one's been KO'd. I can search it out with Lookalike Bell. Remember, you've still got one in the discard. You're searching your deck for the same kind of one. And there's going to be times where 1 or 2 are in the discard and the rest of them are prized. It's going to happen, and that's going to suck. But as a 1 or 2 of tech, to add a little bit of consistency, I love it. And then expanded, where we're all playing more from the discard pile because of Battle Compressor, I love it. I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. I don't think it's going to be a staple, but I do think it's going to see a whole bunch of play. And I do think you should tell me how good you think it is, so let me know in the comments section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are pretty gosh darned awesome nonetheless. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.